All right, joining us now on the phone is House Republican Conference Chairwoman Elise Stefanik. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us. This all began with your line of questioning and their answers to it. Claudine Gay, in her resignation letter, said, in part, quote, "Amidst all of this, it has been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, two bedrock values that are fundamental to who I am, and frightening to be subjected to personal attacks and threats fueled by racial animus." If you look at that, some people could be forgiven for thinking that that is at least partially aimed at you. What do you say?
I say, John, that all three university presidents gave morally bankrupt testimony at the now infamous congressional hearing to a very specific moral question. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate your university's code of conduct? And one after the other, whether it was MIT, Penn, or Harvard, failed to answer that correctly, instead bringing up it depends on the context. As you played earlier, it does not depend on the context. And as a Harvard graduate myself, we have seen a failure of leadership from Claudine Gay, a failure of moral leadership, but also a failure of academic integrity, which is a cornerstone of any higher education institution. So I called for her resignation, as I did for all three, because of their abject failure in that congressional testimony and their failure to protect Jewish students. This is long overdue. It should not have taken the Harvard Corporation Board this long to demand her resignation. And I believe, as we continue our congressional investigation, that we will uncover what will be the greatest scandal in higher education, because the Harvard Corporation members themselves are complicit in this cover-up of her plagiarism and, again, most importantly, their failure to protect Jewish students on campus.
Congresswoman, this is Jillian. So her answer to your repeated questioning at that hearing underscored and really ignited a lot of doubt amongst the Jewish community at Harvard about her ability to protect Jewish students from anti-Semitism, from direct threats of attack. But she's also at this intersection here where she's facing nearly 50 accusations of plagiarism in her academic publications. Do you think that your line of questioning is behind and ultimately what drove this ousting, or do you think it was more of a sort of straw that broke the camel's back type situation?
You know, this accountability would not have happened were it not for that congressional hearing. And I think what it forced was greater scrutiny of her position as the president of Harvard. And you have to remember, Jillian, she was selected as president of Harvard in a shorter search, executive search, than any other previous president. And they should have found out that there were 50 credible allegations of plagiarism. And the fact that the Harvard Corporation, we now know, knew about that before the congressional hearing and tried to cover it up and threaten media outlets to sue them, is a disgrace. When you are a board of any university, you need to make sure that your president, your faculty, and your students uphold the rigors of academic integrity. And instead, they wanted to hide this from their students, from their community. So this accountability would not have happened were it not for the very clear moral questions at the hearing. But there were many people who spoke out, and really it was the over 1 billion views because of the pathetic testimony that led to this day.
Congresswoman, again, in her resignation letter, Claudine Gay says, in part, quote, "After consultation with members of the corporation, it has become clear that it is in the best interest of Harvard for me to resign." You suggested a moment ago that the corporation forced her resignation. Are you just supposing that, or do you have information that they said you've got to step down?
I don't have information. I think it became clear. I've said it has long been clear. Everyone knows that Harvard actually knew it deep down that her presidency was untenable. But I have been concerned that they tried to make this a political issue. It's not political. It's about academic integrity and moral leadership. And I'm a Harvard graduate myself. I know that the motto of Harvard is veritas, truth. And the Harvard Corporation absolutely failed in their responsibility to oversee this institution. They should have dealt with this immediately after the congressional hearing, like Penn did.
Congresswoman, does Harvard's responsibility now end here? Nobody, as far as I'm aware, at the corporation or elsewhere has come forward and refuted the answer she gave to you in that hearing. Do you have any sense that that might be forthcoming?
It should be forthcoming. They need to show a new direction of leadership to protect Jewish students on campus who have faced physical assault, verbal harassment, and this congressional investigation is not going to stop because of the resignation of these university presidents. There are deep institutional rots in these formerly prestigious universities, whether it's their DEI offices or whether it's the anti-Semitism that we see raging on college campuses. So I think the investigation is going to uncover much, much more. This is just, about the university president on top of the institution, but it's an institutional rot that we are addressing because these colleges get billions of taxpayer dollars.
So Congresswoman, like Liz McGill over at UPenn, even though she is stepping down as president, she is going to remain on the faculty. She was a professor of government and African-American studies prior to this. Should she be allowed? I know that she's tenured, and getting rid of a tenured professor is a very difficult proposition. But given the allegations of plagiarism, should she be allowed to stay on the faculty?
No, and look at some of the student reporting in the Harvard Crimson. Students at Harvard are held to a standard that you can't plagiarize, obviously. That does not stand for academic rigor and academic integrity. You can't have members of the faculty where a great percentage of their body of work is plagiarized. There are over 50 credible accusations, and she doesn't have a very robust body of work as it is compared to previous university presidents or faculty members. So no, she should not stay on the faculty.
All right, well, Congresswoman, we've got to leave it there. Thanks for joining us last minute with this breaking news.